Hello and welcome to today's webcast with Balco Group, where CEO Camilla Ekdahl and CFO Mikael Greenborn will present the report for the first quarter of 2024. After the presentation, there will be a Q&A, so if you're calling in, please press star 9 to raise your hand and then star 6 to unmute your microphone when you're handed the word. And if you want to type in your question, please use the form to the right. And with that said, I hand over the word to you guys.
Hello all, and welcome to the Balco Group Quarter 1 report. It's me, Camilla Ekdahl, having this hearing together with Mikael Greenborn, our CFO. First, for all new listeners, I will make a very short snapshot of Balco Group, who we are. Balco Group was founded in 1987 and consists today of several balcony and facade companies. We added 2 more companies to the group during Quarter 1, and I will of course come back to that later in the presentation. The head office is in Växjö, and the group has approximately 700 employees now after the acquisitions. We are operating in 2 main segments, renovation and new build. The core expertise is to supply glazed balconies and balcony solutions primarily on the renovation market and to tenant-owned association, and also replacing then the balconies with new glazed balconies according to what we call the Balco method. And the Balco method means that they have an old slab which is damaged, and then we cut down the old slab, we put up a new slab, and we also make it with a glazing on. And if you do that with a glazing from the brand Balco, you have also 90 years lifetime for the balcony itself. But of course, we can offer also other balcony solutions as other open balconies, and we also have facade renovation into our portfolio. Balco Group is a market leader in the Nordics, but we also have a strong challenger position on other Northern European markets. We want to take an active part in the green transformation which is needed for the residential properties. And the reason for that is that all glazings of balcony results in energy savings. Simple glazing can provide between 5 to 10% energy saving, while Balco's patterned glazings can have a documented energy savings of 20 to 30%. And that is a trigger for doing more, so that the customer could either get hold of the green loans or other subsidies that is existing in the different countries. So let us then go over to the Quarter 1 and the highlights we have there. We had a significant increase in our order intake in the quarter. It increased by 44% to 352 million SEK. The increase come from the new acquisitions we have made. The organic order intake was on the same level as the previous year. Our net sales was, as expected, weak, and that was depending on the lower order backlog we had at the start of the year. But also we had some projects that have been delayed during the long winter season here in the Nordic countries. We can see on the market that there's an increased willingness now to invest and also to discuss coming projects, and that is of course depending on the improved inflation situation, and also the discussions about expected interest rate cuts. But we also see that the trends we discussed already before, that the processes take longer times, that is still the reality. So we also know that there are some votings that has been postponed. And we also have the feeling now that it's really a need that we see that the discussed interest rate cuts are implemented and not only discussed any longer. During the quarter, we have made 2 acquisitions. We started the year with the largest acquisitions we have ever made. It was Riikku Group Oy, the Finnish glazing company. And here in March, we acquired Suomen Ohutlevyasennus, which is a Finnish facade company. I will come back and have a little bit more about them. I talked about Riikku Group when we had the Q4 reporting, so I leave that for you to read in the report we had then. But these 2 acquisitions together means that we will take a leading market position now in Finland, where we actually before have been a little bit weaker. And they are both in line with our long-term strategy to be the balcony supplier in the Nordics and to also to be able to run larger turnkey projects for the green transformation. And talking about this with the green transformation, we have also in the quarter taken another large order in Norway where we will install our unique solution with the air-to-air heat pumps. And this project also includes solar panels. So we see a big interest in this solution that we have taken, and especially for the Norwegian market, where the residential buildings are heated up with electricity. And this is actually our third project in Norway with this integrated solution. We are also really happy to see that we made another independent analysis just to make sure that we are keeping, so to say, what we are saying. So we made another independent analysis in Norway regarding the energy savings of the Balco glazings, and they confirmed the result we had before. We get between 20 to 30% energy savings if you are doing the glazing with the Balco brand, and of course depending on the size of the balcony and the direction of the balcony. As you saw also, the results were not in line with what we have wanted. So of course we continue to work on our reviewing of our cost on organization, and we have here during the quarter taken a decision to move some production between our different factories to get better synergies within the certain production processes. We have had some production processes in more or less all factories, and we are concentrating some of them now to certain factories to get better synergies. So a little bit about our acquisition of Suomen Ohutlevyasennus. This was a company that was founded in 1984, and it is a Finnish facade company, as I said, but they also work as a turnkey supplier. They're located in Turku, and they had a turnover of about 11 million euro and a higher operating margin than Balco Group. Before, I would say a couple of years ago, they worked more or less as a traditional sub-supplier for the builders. But the recent years, they have changed a little bit more the focus to focus more on renovation segment, and also that they have reached a new customer group with the tenant-owned associations. So they have been very successful now in obtaining and running larger facade renovation projects, especially to the tenant-owned associations, where they replace, they take away the old insulation, they put on the new insulation, a new facade, and replace the old balcony glazing. We have acquired 60% of the company and has an option to buy the remaining 40%. It will continue to be run by the co-owners, Jukka Stam and Mikko Jokinen. And together with the other acquisition we made in January, Riku, we can see now, as we said, that we will be a leading player in Finland. And these two are really, so to say, matching each other, because Riku is already a major supplier to Suomen Ohutlevyasennus. So we are seeing now ahead with, we really think that the Finnish market will grow for us, or we know it will.
Yeah, and having a look at the quarterly result, as we mentioned, we've seen an increased order intake, but mostly from the acquisitions. But net sales amounted to 326 million, same as last year. But acquired group was 31%, currency effect was plus 1%, and the organic group was 32% negative. Our adjusted EBITDA amounted to 16 million compared to 28 the year before, and it corresponds to an adjusted operating margin of 5% compared to 8.7 the year before. Order intake increased 44% to 352 million, and acquired group here was 46%, and the organic order intake was minus 2%. Our order backlog has increased by 12% to 1.4 billion SEK, and of which is 24% was acquired order backlog. So big part was, of course, from the acquisitions from Riku and Suomen Ohutlevyasennus also here. Earnings per share amounted to 0.10 SEK compared to 0.63 the year before, And we saw a little bit improvement in our operating cash flow. It amounted to 18 million compared to minus 10 million SEK last year. If we have a look at the two segments we have, the renovation segment saw an increased order intake from the acquisitions. Net sales in the quarter was quite weak. It was 222 million, down from 299 the year before. And it was just 68% of our total net sales. Normally it's been around 80 to 90%. Order intake in the quarter increased by 43% to 285 million compared to 199 the year before. And it corresponds to 81% of our total order intake. Adjusted EBITDA in the quarter amounted to 11 million compared to 26 the year before. And it corresponds to an adjusted operating margin of 4.8% compared to 8.6%. And the decrease here comes from lower occupancy in our both production and project organizations, and also was quite much affected by the longer winter with more snow and also colder winter in all Nordic countries, also in the southern parts of Sweden and Denmark. Order backlog amounted to 1,038 million compared to 1,091 million last year, and it corresponds to 75% of our total order backlog. The new build segment saw increased sales and order intake from especially from the Rico acquisition. Net sales in the quarter amounted to 104 million compared to just 26 million the year before, and it was 32% of our total net sales. Order intake in the quarter increased by 46% to 67 million compared to 46 the year before, and it was 19% of our total order intake. Adjusted EBITDA was 6 million compared to just 1 million the year before, and also our adjusted operating margin was 5.3%, slightly improvement from the year before, which was 5.2%. So here we have stable margins in the new build segment. Order backlog 354 million compared to 150 million the year before, and it corresponds to 25% of our total order backlog. Our financial position, we see, of course, increased debt from the two large Finnish acquisitions we have made. So at the end of the quarter, the group's equity was 801 million, and the equity ratio was 47%. Net debt divided by EBITDA, both including and excluding leasing, was 3.2. But if you include 12 months result from the acquired companies and add that to the EBITDA, you get the net debt in relation to adjusted EBITDA of 2.2. We have a banking agreement with Danske Bank, which is valid till October 2026. And it is a sustainability-linked revolving credit facility of 510 million SEK and an overdraft facility of 75 million. Our financial targets for the group, we have a group target that Balco shall achieve growth of 10% per year during the business cycle. And if we look at the last 12 months and compare that to the 12 months before that, we see a negative growth of 11%. We also have a profitability target that our earnings per share shall grow by 20% per year during a business cycle. And here, the last 12 months, we see a negative growth of 50%. Our capital structure should be that our interest-bearing debt, net debt, should not exceed 2.5 times adjusted EBITDA, other than temporarily, like just after an acquisition. And here we, as we saw on the last previous page, we are at 3.2, but if we add 12 months profit from the acquisitions, we are at 2.2. We also have a dividend policy that Balco shall distribute between 30 and 50% of profit after tax taking in consideration needs of Balco's long-term growth and prevailing market conditions. And the board has proposed the no dividend to the annual meeting of this year, that will be now in 12th of May. And it is to finance the recently completed strategic acquisitions. And some update from the sustainability side. As Camilla mentioned before, another independent analysis in Norway regarding the efficiency of energy savings when glazing with a balcony with the Balco brands glazing. So the same results as before, that the glazing from the Balco brand provides an energy saving of between 20 and 30%, depending on the size of balcony and also direction of the balcony. And once again, this strengthens our market case that the glazing from Balco is a trigger to be able to get further improvements from the property's energy consumption. We have also already in 2023 reached our goal in reducing our environmental impact in Scope 1 and Scope 2 by 35% compared to 2019. And this goal was set that it should be reached in 2025, but we reached it already in 2023. So Balco Group has committed to develop new long-term and short-term targets for the energy reduction, including a net zero target in line with science-based targets initiatives. And we think that should be improved by the science-based targets initiative either during this year or early next year.
Yeah, going a little bit deeper maybe to the market update. It is, as we say, the market is improving. The inflation situation and the discussion about expected interest rate cuts are increasing the willingness to invest. But we see there is still a challenging market because processes take longer time and decisions are postponed. So we see that the discussed interest rate cuts must be implemented to really see that it's increasing again. We continue, of course, to support our customers with the financial expertise in the dialogues, and we are helping the customers through the whole process. And as I said, the discussions are ongoing, so it's not quiet on the market, but we need more decisions and to get the order intake really to lift. And therefore, I also would like to say that we have seen the increased willingness, but we have not seen a strong, I would not say that we see a very strong recovery in the market. So our previous assessment that we will have an impact on the sales and the results the coming quarter is remaining. But we know that the need to renovate balconies remains also. And we know that it's not the need just to renovate the balcony, it's also a need to take the entire surface layer of apartment buildings and think about the energy savings that can be done. And Balco will be a part of this necessary change, and we are able to carry out the important turnkey projects for this. If we look on the acquisitions, as we said, we have made 2 big acquisitions during Q1, and acquisitions are an important part of the Balco Group's growth strategy. And we are looking for companies, European balcony companies, or companies with activities that can complement Balco's green transformation product offering. And the 2 acquisitions we have made is really focusing on this. We made the acquisition for Rica Group, which was a good European, good Finnish balcony company, which was strong position in a niche market, in the new building market in Finland. And it's Suomen Ohutläviasennus, which is also complementing for the green transformation and offering with insulation and turnkey supplier. So we are following our acquisition strategy and our long-term strategy. Some concluding remarks. The net sales In Q1, 326 million SEK, the same level as previous year, with a lower adjusted EBITDA margin of 5%. But as we said, the demand is still there, but we don't have a strong recovery yet. We will continue to have an impact. But we also see that our investment in being able to run projects aim to be a more comprehensive energy savings on the property continues to meet with great interest. We see this solution we have with the air-to-air heat pumps that has a great interest in Norway, and we also see that we are good on including installation of sauna pallets into our projects. And once more again, the two acquisitions will make us take a leading market position in Finland, where we previously had a little bit weaker position. So that was all in our presentation. Looking forward to answer some questions.
Thank you so much, and we'll jump right ahead to the Q&A here. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're calling in and want to ask a question, please press star 9 to raise your hand, and then star 6 to unmute your microphone while handed the word. But we will start here with a question that has been writing to us. Hi, did you experience any growth within sales to construction companies, or was all of the growth M&A driven?
No, what we have seen is a growth within the UK business, which is to the builders, Aktier there. We have had a very good development in the UK markets.
Thank you. After the Finnish acquisition, what is sales split between the balcony and the facade renovation/other segments?
It's still mostly balcony. We haven't still more than 90% who is balcony side, and facade is between 5 and 10%.
Thank you. How is the acquired business evolving?
So far, it's evolving according to plan.
Yeah.
So we are very pleased with the acquisitions so far.
It has been a very good start, I would say. We have had very good first startup integration meetings. We are working really closely together with the Rico Group, both regarding product development and also development of the business in Finland. And Suomen Åhutleversennus have also been here, and they are also being able to sell the Balco product for the Finnish market ahead. So we are really satisfied with the startup and the startup integration. Then, of course, we have a lot of work to be done, but it has been a good start.
Thank you. What drives the sequential improvement in the gross margin compared to Q4 2023?
No, it's one part is Suomen Åhutleversennus is very strong. We have also seen very good stable business in the new build side. That has been very positive, both stable as as planned for the Rico Group, and then good development in UK. So I would say mostly from the new build side, it's been improvements.
Would you say a new normal level for the gross margin is 20 to 21% after the acquisitions?
Could be a quite stable margin. We think it should be in that, more or less in that level.
Thank you. And once again, I just want to repeat, if you're calling in and want to ask a question, please press star 9 to raise your hand. And we move on with another question here. Could you talk a bit more about the differences in various markets and countries? A quite dramatic decrease in Sweden in the quarter. Renovation, how much of the 86 million increase year on year in order intake is related to the acquisitions? Did you get the question there?
No, to be honest, no. Could you repeat it? How much of the order intake that was in the increase? Because as we said, more or less the increase is coming from the acquisition. If you compare to previous year, if that was the question.
Yes, and also can you talk a bit more about the difference in various markets and countries?
We usually don't give up too much, so to say, about the development in the different countries, but I can make a very short, so to say, overview of it. And as we said, we can see that we have a good development in the UK market, development really fine. We have had a little bit more, so to say, a challenging situation in the Nordic markets. But if you compare to previous year, actually Norway have performed better, and Sweden is a little bit lower than previous year.
Thank you. In terms of current trading and current demand, what do you see strongest versus weakest demand per region? You mentioned longer process in general, but is that for all Nordic countries?
Yes, I would say it is for all Nordic countries, and it's actually it's coming in, we see both in Sweden and in Norway, and that is to the tenant-owned associations, of course. And we also actually see it in Denmark, where also the processes, even if you are chosen as a supplier in the processes in Denmark, it takes really, really long time now before they are finalized how many people should have, because they were doing city balconies. And there it takes a long time for them to decide how many should really go onto the project and have a new balcony. So that is a really change in the market that we have seen since actually 1.5 years ago, and that continues.
Thank you. That was all the questions that has been sent into our email, and I repeat once again to the ones who are calling in, if you want to ask a question, please press *9 to raise your hand, and I will give you a couple seconds here to do so if you want. So it seems not like nobody want to ask a question anymore here, so I will hand over the word to you for some concluding remarks.
Yeah, concluding remarks, I would say that, as I said before, we still have a challenging market, but the market remains. It's not the demand for the renovation for the balcony or for the facades is not disappearing. And with the new regulations that will come on the energy savings demands, we see that there will be a good market for us ahead, both with the glazed balconies, but also, of course, with the facade renovations, and to be able to take these turnkey projects. We know that our products are really valid for the coming market, and we really believe in our products, and that we have seen, especially with the new products we have introduced now to the Norwegian market. But as I said, we will have an effect both on the sales and results for the coming quarters also.
Thank you so much for the presentation here today, and thank you all for tuning in. I wish you a pleasant day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.